see everyone here today, and isn't it a beautiful day outside? I talked to a friend in Anchorage who lives on the hillside, which is the bottom of a mountain just as you're heading south out of Anchorage. We have 12 inches of snow. So, yeah, we're kind of lucky here. We haven't had our first snow yet, so it's a beautiful day, and I'm so excited that you could all join us today, and so happy to be here. I wanted to point out that we love to pray here. We love to pray. And on the back table are some prayer request forms. And if you have something heavy on your heart or something you'd like us to celebrate with you, please fill out one of those prayer request forms and we will be happy to pray with you all week. And you can put your name on it or not. It doesn't matter. Also on the back table there is a place or a form to fill out if you are not on our mailing list and would like to be. And that being said, I believe we have some special music for you this morning.
Person sitting next to you, say I love you and God loves you too. I feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together. Sit next to you. Say I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together.
Children of the world, including the child within each and every one of us. So I'd like to ask you to join me in the blessing of the children. We see you, who you really are, made in the image and likeness of God. We cherish you, we support you, and we love you. And so moving into that space of love and support and cherishing, we know there is only one life, and that life is God, and that life is love, and that life is good. We know that God is everywhere present. It is in its essence that we live and breathe and have our being. We, each one of us, is one with it. It can be no other way. One with life, one with love, one with peace, one with joy and harmony, one with health and wholeness, one with the one, because there is only one. And so as I speak my word this day, I speak it for the ensuing week and beyond, knowing that each activity in which we participate is an activity of the divine, and we are blessed. We are blessed by the divine as we move through our days and our weeks. I know that we are surrounded, supported, strengthened, and uplifted by that divine presence, that the Spirit resides within each and every one of us. We are it, and it is us, like the drops of water are part of the ocean. And I'm grateful. I am grateful for the power and the presence of Spirit within each one of our lives this day. I am grateful for the opportunity that we have to come together in love and in joy this day. I simply say thank you as I release this word now to the perfect working of the perfect law that always, always, and only says yes. Please join me in affirming, and so it is.
This is a gift to me. God is so good to me. I just needed this, and I prayed you all in, and we come together in the name of love, because that's exactly who and what we are. We have our foibles, and we have our challenges, and we have our ups and downs, but we come together in the name of love, and we recognize each other. That's the beauty of the whole thing. We recognize each other because there's that within us that always knows truth and always responds to truth. So this week I'm going to talk about "And Still I Rise." That's really based on Maya Angelou's poem, "And Still I Rise." That's where it came from. And I'm just going to use a few lines from it. Heavenly days, I hope I have them. What did I do with them? Oh, here it is. These are just a few words from that poem, but they're so powerful. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. What a way to start our celebration today, but really and truly, this speaks so to the truth of that universal truth, that there is that within us that's untouchable, that regardless of what we have experienced out here in the outer world, regardless of what we've lost or gained or done or haven't done, we have not touched the essence within us. It's untouchable as far as changing it, diminishing it, reducing it in any way, or even building it into something else. It is in its fullness God as expressing as us. I love the words of her poem. I love this. It's a very long poem, so it's beautifully done. If you care to listen to it, it's Still I Rise. So perhaps, like last week I said, perhaps what is in the way is the way. Perhaps what looks like our challenge, our whatever it is that is not fitting in our world the way we'd like to be, perhaps what's in the way is the way. And we will rise not in spite of that, not in spite of it, but we'll rise because we have that within us that enables us to rise beyond it. We'll take our challenges and our discomforts and not in spite of them rise, but because of them. And I really believe that we can do this when we recognize that what's in front of us is not nearly as important as what's inside of us. It's what's inside of us that will guide us through and take us through anything that's in front of us. What's inside of us, that unalterable spirit within us, is the power and the presence, the grace and the glory of God as you, as me. That's what's inside of us. And that's what carries us through our challenges. That's what lifts us up as we're learning new things, as we're letting go of old stuff and moving into the new. We have had a challenge in the last 18 months. Our world was turned upside down. In fact, it's the only time, it's the first time in history, I believe, the whole world was affected by this pandemic. The entire world was put on pause. And we moved into this place of, how did it happen? How long is it going to last? Really, what is the truth about it? We had all of this stuff that was coming onto us that was unknown. And yet within us, the knowingness, the self-divine was never affected, not by what happened outside of us. Not touched in the least, never changed. And so we have that within us to stabilize us, to ground us, to really set us firmly where we need to be as we're experiencing these things that are coming out, these things that are happening, and those things that have happened in the past. We have that within us that will stabilize us when we recognize that it is us. It is us. It's a part of us. It's not something we're reaching out for in order to embrace. It's something we are remembering within us, and through remembering, we are activating it into our consciousness. And so we are empowered. We're empowered. We are empowered with the grace of God. We live in the kingdom of God. The kingdom of heaven is within us. We are, and by thinking, we set in motion the power that creates what we are experiencing from the inside out. As we think, so we will experience. The seed of perfection, that seed of God, that seed of perfection is hidden within us, always ready to bloom forward. We're surrounded by the creative mind. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. It means it's everywhere. It's not just in Kalispell, Montana, or the Flathead Valley. It's not just in Great Falls, Montana. It's everywhere present. Everywhere present. And present to everyone. We're surrounded by this creative mind, which directs the impress it receives into our experience. When the creative mind receives a direct impress from our thoughts and our feelings, we are going to have an experience of it. And we'll have that experience to the degree that we embody the law of mind, that we embody that there is this creative power that's always working through us and working for us and working as us. It's just that simple and that profound. For us, as us, with us. We are God's delight. We are absolutely God's delight. If I could picture, which I cannot do, I would picture God up there dancing around, just happy as could be all the time. And God seeing, now get this, God sees us making these mistakes here. Is God worried? Is God up there on his throne possibly, thinking, oh, what am I going to do with these people that aren't getting it? I can't even imagine. If there is a delightful God and a good God of goodness, which I believe in, it's always, always the loving presence for all of its creation. It's always in existence as a loving presence for its creation. Now get that. That's like, we're like children who act out. And sometimes some of us have had parents who said, you know, I hope you learned your lesson from that. Come here, let's move on. And some of us had parents that went, whack, whack, don't ever do that again. And some of us had parents didn't notice maybe, or whatever parenting we experienced, it's different than the parenting or the loving embrace of the one, of the father of all, the mother of all, the essence of all. It's different because we're all held in the embrace and seen only as its outpictured perfection. Energy and thought is not energy because we think it's so, or because we want it to be so, or we wish it to be so. It is because it is. The energy that's in thought is energy and that will move into demonstration because that's how the law works. Not because we want it to do so, but because that's how the law works. The law is impersonal. Doesn't matter who's putting something into the mold, which is a part of the law of mind. Whatever we're putting into the mold with our thoughts and feelings, doesn't matter who we are or why we want it. If we believe in it and we're putting our energy into it, we get it. We get it in some form at some time. So we have to be really clear about where our energy is going and where it's going on a daily basis, because I really think some of us pick up the stuff of yesterday and haul it along with us today. Whatever I was thinking and worrying about yesterday, often I would pick up right after I've done my spiritual practice in the morning, right after I've made my covenant with God. God, today is your day and I'm here to be in service, and in being in service to you, I expect I will delight you and delight myself. There we go. And then I start into my day. And sometimes I will pick up the stuff, the worry, the concern, the habits of yesterday. But we want to look at that. We want to be sure that whatever we're doing today is enhancing our lives. Or we could just go to those two very, very incredibly powerful words and tell ourselves what? Stop it. Just stop it. Stop nagging, stop complaining, stop criticizing, stop judging. Stop being so hard on yourself. We're saying this to ourselves, not others. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else or comparing yourself to someone you'd like to be like. Stop it. But once we've said stop it, we have to allow the breath of God to infiltrate our being with, and know that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And if those aren't your words yet, I invite you to allow them in. Just try them on like you do a new suit, new shoes. Try out that new car. Whole, perfect, and complete, just as I am. Yeah. So when we can tell ourselves to stop it, what we've done is we can then shift our attention from what it is we want to stop or need to stop or know we could stop over to what it is we want to focus on. Remember, where your focus goes, your energy goes. Worry, worry, worry. Complain, complain, complain. You know, it's just a really unnecessary human habit we have. Or judgment. Oh my goodness. We can get into that when we start blaming. It's the government's fault. It's the neighbor's fault. It's my husband's fault. Oh, I don't have one. Never mind. It must be my daughter's fault. You know, we're looking for someone to put it on so that we don't have to take care of our own business. We are here to take care of our own business, and our business is our God self. And it's about revealing our God self. It's about expressing our God self. It's about experiencing as the very foundation of what and who we are, our God self. That's what we're here for. And so we take classes, and we meet in groups, and we read books, and we share stories, and we do all of these things on this journey of life. And we're headed towards the greatest expression of that we will know, but we're headed for it in each moment. We don't want to see it as a destination out there. It's in this moment. It's right now. And it's right here, and it's with the people you're surrounded by. We are here in God's presence. We are in the presence of God as the essence around us and the essence within us. We must remember that we do not see things as they are, but we see things as we are. So with that in mind, I have this little demonstration. I so love this. Can you all tell what that is?
No. A coffee cup.
It's a coffee mug that used to be red, and now it's red and silver. Can you see what's happened? This paint has peeled off, but whatever kind of paint they put on it, and it's mine. And I love it. And here's what it represents to me. This is how we started out. And that's how that mug started out. It was pure and silver. Really lovely. That's how we started out. We were born with that wholeness. And then the company decided to put a color on it. And here's what happens. This color, this red color, is about us moving through life. We've learned stuff. We've accumulated stuff. We've done stuff. You see, it became a whole outer shell for us. But as we travel, and as we travel together on this journey, as we can become more aware of our oneness with all that is, whether we're doing it through scientific proof and as well as spiritual knowingness, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. But as we do this, this is what happens. The same thing happens to us as happened to this cup. We start to peel away the stuff that doesn't work for us any longer. The stuff that we don't value any longer. Like having more than my neighbor is no longer a value I hold. So, and you know what happens? We get on our spiritual journey and it starts to happen without us even noticing. I didn't notice when the paint started to peel off that cup. One day I was just like, oh, what happened here? And that's what happens your own life when you have a different response to something in life that you've had a very set response to. Maybe you run into that person you've been ignoring forever, and then if you did see them, they got the glare, right? Or they got the ignore them, right? But you'll know that you're peeling away that outer stuff that came as a result of living life when you see that person. And then you choose what you're going to do. You might say hello, you might wave, you might just nod, you might not do anything. Bless them in your mind. But you'll know that things are changing when you feel it within you. And then it starts to peel off all the old stuff. We have this expanded experience of the godness and the self-divinity that we are. And it looks like that. And sometimes all I see is the old stuff, the red, and that's where I live from. But most of the time, I see the silver peeking through, and I'm excited about it. So guess what I'm doing now? I'm peeling that stuff away. Yeah, and that's what we can do too. We determine, not anyone outside of ourselves. No, nothing else determines how we are going to do this path. You, each one of you, will determine whether you're going to peel it away quickly or allow it to fall away or ignore that it is falling away. But it happens. It happens because we keep rubbing up against God's selves out there. We keep rubbing up against the stardust, which is everyone. We're all made out of that stardust. We keep rubbing up against it, and you know what happens? We receive goodness. By osmosis, we receive it. I know that is the truth. I know that I am a better person because of all the wonderful people I'm around. I know that. And I know I'm a better person when I can experience a challenge and not be overtaken by the challenge. When I realize that I can rise above an old response to that challenge. That's when we know that we are peeling away that outer shell that just came on, as we lived life. Okay, there's what we live like. That's how we were born, and that's how we will always remain, whether we have the shell or not. That's very important for us to know. So the freedom from what we don't want depends on to what extent we are able to consistently guide and direct our thinking. So our freedom from what we don't want will always depend on how well we can guide and direct our thoughts. That's what we're experiencing out here, folks. Our life is our thoughts. Our life is our beliefs in front of us. And we know, we believe in religious science, we believe that there's a power for good which is responding to us and bringing to us, into my experience, and into your experience, what is necessary for our unfoldment. And it doesn't always look the way I want it to. It looks like challenge. It looks like disappointment. That's why I say today we need to know we shall rise above. And what is in the way could be the way. What is in the way could be the way. So the challenges we're looking at, we can use those as a portal. The pain maybe we're experiencing, we can use that as a portal to move through, to move into that greater self, because we'll never be the same after we've had that experience, that challenge, that pain. We'll never be the same as we were before, but we can be greater than we've been before. We can be more of who we've always been, a greater expression of ourselves. We can use the pain as a portal. There's no way, I think God says, oh, you need to be in pain so you'll learn this lesson. No, but God says there's goodness always available to you, through you, for you, as you. And in this pain, remain the same, and you remain the same. We remain the same God essence. So let us use in our challenges as we're looking at how the world is evolving, what we want differently, and how we're experiencing it. Let's look at it as that wake-up call we needed. We needed a wake-up call. We needed a wake-up call. Every morning, every single morning, I have a wake-up call. I had a wake-up call because I had this beautiful dog. And there were things I needed to do. And now my dog is gone. My dog died. And I still wake up to let him out. Or wake up to let him in. Whatever, whatever the situation might be. But I feel like, I know because I had him, I'm a better person. I'm a better person. I got out of that, what Yvonne wants, to what does Jack want? Sharing, getting bigger. And Ernest Holmes said, there's an inner urge in our own minds to grow and expand. He said that it's there in us. We know that. We're always wanting to grow and expand and to break down barriers too. We want to break down the barriers and previous limitations that have held us where we are so that we can go even greater and deeper and wider than we've been before. And he says this persistent urge is a divine influence, an irresistible force, and constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience. Just as the little green sprout comes up in the crack of the sidewalk, we will not be held down. We will rise, and we are rising. We have this unstoppable spirit within us. It can't be diminished and it can't be stopped. It is within us. And that's why we move forward. And that's why we'll move upward. And that's why we're here, is to contribute that which is within us as a good, an expression of good to the world. I also want to mention that nothing is wasted in God. Nothing is wasted in God. We know there's divine intelligence, a creative power that's back of all things. And so when we have our challenges and when we have our experiences that are not those that we would choose, it's not because God is not present. It's not because we are needing that experience. If we're needing it, maybe we've created it, but it doesn't come from God. It's called the spiritual bypass when something happens and we say, at least that's what we call it, it was God's divine will. God's divine will is goodness, grace, joy, peace, love, abundance, creative expression. It's never pain, ever, ever pain. And if we're experiencing pain, it is God's will that I know. If I'm experiencing pain, it's God's will that I know there's still a perfection within me, no matter what my body looks like. If there's still a perfection within me, no matter what I've lost. If there's still a perfection within me, no matter what is it I'm experiencing on the outside, that is God's will for us. That is what we want to remember and know. And it takes courage. And it takes support. But what it is love. It's pure love. And when we love ourselves enough to know that we are the creation of the One, we are able to know and love others in the same way. So nothing is wasted. God did not create junk. Or God didn't make mistakes. But when we're in the junk and when we've made the mistakes, let us remember there's a power for good in the universe for us, through us, and with us. So for this week, we must remember I invite you to remember that you are well and wonderfully made by divine intelligence. You are well and wonderfully made by divine intelligence. You are perfect. How our body is acting right now, or what our mind is or what we think we're seeing out here, it's facts. But truth. The truth the masters from the ages have taught. Truth, divine self, remains, never to be changed. So as we rise up into life, as we rise up this week with this idea that we are there's a portal here that we walk through when we consciously decree that we are held back by nothing, and that we walk forward with everything. We walk forward with the spirit of life. The power of God rises in each one of us. So I invite you to join with me as I recognize in this moment that God is all there is. God is all there is. One life, God. And in this recognition, may we allow ourselves to stop it. Just stop it. Stop the worry. Stop the anxiety, the angst that rises up within us by recognizing there is a power greater than this. And as we free ourselves this week, this day, this moment, as we free ourselves to embody the allness of God, to embrace and be embraced by the love of God, may we be free in our actions and our words. May we freely think. From that center of love that we are. And may we be the one this week that is a space for someone else to know their godness, for someone else to know their goodness, for someone else to find a sweetness that they are. May we intentionally provide the space for someone else to recognize their God self. May we consciously be in that space with them. For we're doing this together. One tribe, one family. One life. And let us take a breath and consciously send our blessings out to the children of the world, to the youth in our world that are now facing this movement into adulthood, this movement out of the family into a new experience in a new area. And may we bless those youth who have already done so and that are out there doing what they've chosen to do. May we bless them all. May we send our love and blessings out to the caregivers and to our elderly. May we send our blessings and love out to the leaders of our world and to those who are being oppressed. Let us send our blessings of love out to all of life. Who would we set aside that we wouldn't want to bless? Oh, let there be no one, no place, no time. For we are recognizing the power of love in this moment. And the power of life, the one life. And so therefore we know that the good we want for ourselves, we want for our sisters and brothers. We want a world today, for each one of us, if you so choose to embrace it. And I allow the love that surrounds, that is everywhere present, to be my support, as I notice the support of everyone, everywhere, all of the time. Everywhere, all of the time. And so with recognizing, remembering, and activating our self-divine in a way that is absolutely magnificent, may we go forth blessing ourselves and the world, and so it is. Amen.
There's an echo in this when I sing oneness. You can sing oneness. That's all you have to do. One word. Oneness. Oneness means that every time we speak the truth, the stars rejoice, and oneness. Oneness means that every loving thought restores the earth. This is a moment in this time and place. We bless the earth. Oneness. Oneness means that we can never ever be away from home, and oneness. Means that we are all connected all the time. This is a moment in this time and place. We bless the Oneness means that when we
praying this long to be heard. Thank you.
It's a wonderful, wonderful song. Thank you so much. Huh. Maybe. Oh, there we go. We've come to that place in our service where we get to put into practice the law of circulation. For those of you who are present with us here, there's a basket in the back for your love offering. For those of you who are joining us online, you can go to www.cslkalispell.com and there is a place there that you can donate. So I'd like to ask you to please join me now in this spiritual giving and receiving prayer. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me, multiplied abundantly. And so it is. So I have some announcements for you. Immediately following service, we have coffee and conversation downstairs. Meditation is every Wednesday night on Zoom from 7:30 to 8. My understanding is that the first and third Wednesdays of October will be Dances of Universal Peace, and in the park. Is that correct? Okay.
It's weather dependent.
Weather dependent, of course. And on October 10th from 7 to 8 p.m., the Tapestry Trio concert with our own Jamila will be here, and it's something you don't want to miss. That being said, be sure to like us and share us on Facebook. Thanks to everyone who has joined us online. We appreciate your continued support. We hope you come back to see us again. Blessings.